Welcome to another edition of Radcentric, where the cool kids hang out. Today, actually, something really exciting is happening. We're being filmed by ROC-TV, so you can check out the video as well as the podcast of this whole interview, which is pretty cool. Well, with us today is the esteemed Lord Sir James Bristow III, in His Majesty's name, better known as Bristow, and he is directing a play.
Yes, I am. I'm directing Present Tense by John McNamara. It's for the Directing 2 class. There's like 7 of us, and we all get to choose our own one act that we get to direct and everything. We've already got them all casted and done the audition process and everything, so that was really exciting. Now we're just working them.
Could you tell us a little bit about the auditioning process?
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of time for auditions because we didn't want to be there for longer than we were there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very long process. It was 2 nights, and we were there from about 7 to 10 both nights.
Yeah.
What we did is all the directors chose a couple excerpts from the script, and we had people read for them. It was basically like being called back for a role, and we just skipped the first audition part. And there was like cold readings, and we just asked people.
Can you explain what a cold reading is?
Oh yeah, sorry. Cold reading is like you give someone a script and you tell them to read a section, and they've like never read the script before or they've never performed it. And so we just kind of handed out our little sections and was like, okay, read this now, please. Thank you.
Now, what's Present Tense about? What's the plot?
Present Tense is about this guy, Norm, who, he's in his room, and he's a high schooler. He's 17, and he's going to prom this Saturday night. But his girlfriend doesn't know if she can go yet, because of her Aunt Gladys. And
right.
So he's worrying himself to death over that, and we get looks into his brain about what he's thinking and what she could be doing and all this stuff. And while his friend Jerry, encourages it, and he just pushes it on. And so he's just worrying the whole time about this girl Anne, whether or not she's going to be able to go to the prom with him. And
it's a very funny script. It's completely over the top.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. I'm really excited for it.
And what made you want to choose this one?
Well, I like the fact that how over the top it was. And a lot of the humor's written in. Granted, we're going to find moments to add like our own spins and our own humor, but a lot of it is like, here, be funny. Like, I'm writing you funny. Be funny, please. And I really enjoyed it. And it was very simple staging, and it was very, what's the word I'm looking for? There was a lot of artistic availability with it, like you could stage it multiple ways and have the same effect, and so I was really excited to put my own spin on it.
I like it. What's the biggest spin you're kind of trying to throw in there?
Well, the biggest spin I'm trying to throw in.
I know right now you're in the middle of blocking.
Yeah,
so
right now,
it's
in the beginning process, so I'm still, feeling out what's what and who's what, when, where, and how. But the biggest spin I want to throw is I don't want it to be like too similar throughout the whole thing.
Right.
Like I want it to be switched up, because there's a lot of the times where they do a lot of the same thing. Like there's one constant piece of stage directions that says they fall on the floor and tear each other's clothes off. They fall on the floor and tear each other's clothes off.
And
they fall on the floor and tear each other's clothes off.
The show.
Right, exactly. If you love partial nudity.
Yeah, you'll love it. It's so good. And so like I really don't want them doing the same fall, like the same choreographed fall or the same embrace and everything. I really want them to be able to switch it out throughout the whole thing. So that's what I'm trying to do is taking some of the stage direction he's provided and switching it around and manipulating it to what I want.
Now, is this your first time directing anything?
Not anything, but like college level, on university level it is. My senior year in high school, I directed a one act. We did basically the same thing as directing 2 here.
Okay.
Our Theater 4 level class was directing, and it was for all the seniors. And there was about 6 of us in there too.
Of course.
And we did like a little festival setting like we're doing with this one. Where we each got our own one act, and we directed them and casted them and everything. And yeah, and I did the Philadelphia by David Ives, which is a hilarious show. I love it. But it's a very small cast, and it was very intimate to work with. You know, it was like 3 people, and it was awesome. I loved it. And that's what makes me want to direct now.
Do you like doing comedies more than anything serious?
Not more. It's more of a challenge, and I like a challenge. Dramas is kind of like, okay, here's when you cry.
Yeah.
Cry. Where like comedy, you've really got to analyze the script and find these little places with like help from your actors, and you know, if you find these little tweaks you can throw in there to be funny, or these little, you know, this little stuff, and it's really a lot more freedom, I feel,
so
when you have a comedy.
A lot harder to actually find out where the joke is as opposed to where the dramatic tension is in a script.
Yes, and like I said, a lot of the jokes are written in. But, you know, if you watch SNL, most of the comedy isn't the script. It's what the people are doing with it, you know. It's the choices they're making to, even when they're not talking. Like, some of the funniest stuff, like Gilly, is like when she's not talking, she's like, and so, you know, I love that challenge of being able to find stuff and being able to really work with the actors.
Absolutely.
And not trying to, like, make people cry or, like, you know, it's depressing stuff. Who needs it?
No, it's something that was interesting. That I read the script, and it's has a very striking parallel to like David Ives in the way it kind of flashes around like that.
Yeah, it does. It flashes back and forth between like his mind palace. That's what I call it.
Right.
And like his room is because a lot of the time, you know, he's like, yeah, well, this happened in school the other day, and it flashes to. All of a sudden, it's a school setting, and we see these kids walking around the hall. You know, it's very. My directing teacher calls it Family Guy-ish.
I kind of see
that aspect of, you know, like, yeah, like this one time I had coffee with Oprah, and then it flashes to Peter sitting there with Oprah, like drinking coffee, and doing something outrageous.
And there's also coffee drinking with Oprah in your play as well, correct?
Yeah, well, you know,
no,
I tried to get her, but she's fully booked with her new.
Whatever.
Network,
I heard she did a really horrible line read too, just bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
Now, do you actually want to direct plays as a career?
Maybe. I'm still kind of feeling out my options. That's what I love about like going to Radford.
Yes.
Here's my little pitch that I give to everyone I give tours to, is that they give us so many like opportunities. And like right now, I'm working in the costume shop, you know, stitching and like detailing stuff. Like I'm making a fully laced blouse right now. It's insane. And I'm also, you know, doing this directing show, and I'm also acting in a play.
You are.
And so I like to have my hands in everything.
Talk to us about it's Major Barber, correct?
Yes.
And I've taken a look at your lines in it. You have a very cockney character.
Yeah. He's how I talk. You can barely understand him all the time, and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
I is spelled A-W, or I. It's spelled phonetically. Is basically what it is. It's just a bunch of letters smashed together. And you're supposed to
kind of decode
say it out loud. No, it's like a giant game of Mad Gab.
It's so much more professional than Brandon and I's cockney, which is saying every word but just removing the first letter.
That's pretty much it.
No, you got it. You got the part.
Yes. Yes. Now, what's the big challenge between going back and forth from directing to acting? Because you're doing it at the same time right now.
Yeah, I go right now. It's I'll have a directing rehearsal from like 5:30 to 6:30, and then have a little 30-minute break where I can go grab something to eat quickly, and then run straight to my acting rehearsal.
Right.
And it's all about power balance, really, between actors and directors. Like when you're a director, you have the power, but like, you know, when you're an actor, you got to sit there and you gotta listen, and you gotta, you know, and you gotta find the choices that you're gonna make instead of trying to push people to find the choices. You know what I mean? So I mean, it goes hand in hand in some aspects, like choice finding and, you know, being able to analyze the script and being able, you know, but yeah, it's a big difference.
I would imagine
it's a huge difference. So it's tough. That's what our director Jennifer Jules, she always is like, all right, James, you ready to switch gears now? You just came from auditions, now you're coming in to act. And I'm like, yeah, I'll try.
And do you ever find it hard to make that switch just like on a dime?
Sometimes, like there's times in rehearsal where I'm just like, I am not on it today. This is not a good day for me.
Well, I know you were. when you first started, I guess if we could go and say that both Zach Staple and I are in your one act.
Yes.
Yeah. we were cast. Zach is Jerry. I get to play Norm, so we're best friends in the play, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this just because I'm in it, but you are doing a great job so far.
Well, thank you so much.
It's very entertaining.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm just a stage manager.
You are. But I know you sent out an email to us one day for our first rehearsal, and only told one person where to go.
Yeah. You know, everybody gets one. All right.
Everybody gets one.
I thought I hit reply to all, and then I just didn't. So, that's my one screw up I get.
Everyone gets one screw up. I was texting you, just going like, I don't know where we're meeting. I just know there's a rehearsal somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know where.
Yeah, you can just walk around and find me.
Right.
So.
When I've worked with a couple of different directors here, and I think one of my favorite ones was actually Kitty Bellabo. And what her kind of theory on it was that you should help not direct the actors as much as shepherd them into it, which I've noticed a lot in your rehearsal.
I love that. As it's weird, as an actor, I loved very strict, very tell me what to do and when to do it. Please.
Right.
I like that very strict, direction. But as a director, I don't like to direct like that. I'm very free in the way I direct, and the fact that it's all about the actor exploring and coming up with these things. To use an example from rehearsal, there's one moment where I saw in my head, I was like, okay, yeah, he could be throw his hands up, spin around, and fall on the bed. But I don't want to tell you exactly what to do, because I want you to find something that works for you, because that works for the Norm in my head, but it might not work for Brandon, who's playing Norm. And so it's all about the way you word things and guiding an actor, but not really pushing them in the direction you want them to go, because ultimately it's the actor. It's all up to the actor. And so right now it's very pushy with blocking, getting all the first blocking down, and that's just because I'm just trying to muscle through it so we can get to the fun stuff. So right now it's a lot of, okay, then you stand here on this and then you go here. But once we get done with that, and once we get a basic concept, there's going to be a lot more play. There's we're going to have a rehearsal where it's called the soap opera run through.
Okay.
Where everything is just over dramatic, melodramatic, all of it.
Just as over the top as possible.
Yeah, exactly. If you have to say at one point Anne has a line that's like, "Oh Jerry," and it's not gonna be like, "Oh Jerry," it's got to be like, "Oh Jerry,"
Just
you know what I mean? Just very over the top, as much of like a soap opera as you can make it. And so that's when it'll start getting fun again, and we'll start making discoveries and exploring the script and everything. And that's really what I enjoy. I enjoy the part after we get the scripts out of our hands.
Now, when you were first trying to choose your scripts, when you were reading that one, what made you go, this is what I'm choosing over anything else?
When you find the one, you know. Your mom tells you that all the time.
Right.
You'll know when you find the right one. But no, it's true. Honestly, I didn't read a lot of scripts. I started reading some, and I read 2 or 3, and I was like, all right, this is I don't like any of these. And I went to my old high school, because I did it over winter break. I went to my old high school drama teacher and was like, hey, do you have anything that I could do? And she was like, well, here's my whole collection of plays, and it's this huge bookshelf, and I was like, oh, do you have any suggestions? And she was like, well, I directed this one in college, and handed me present tense. And I was like, okay, I'll read it. And I remembered it because she gave me a monologue out of it to do when I auditioned for VCU.
Oh, which monologue?
It was the Battle of the Blouse monologue.
Oh, fantastic.
I did that when I auditioned for VCU, and so I was like, oh, it's this play. And so I didn't read through the whole thing. I just got that little chunk of text, you know. And so I read through it all, and I was like, no, this is it. This is the one. I've got to do this show. And so I walked in the first day of directing class, and Wes was like, well, Wesley Young, who's the directing professor, he was like, well, if you guys have anything that you want to let me read, bring it next class to me. I had it in my hand. I was about to hand it to him, and then he was like, just bring it next class. So I put it back in my book bag. I was like, rats. And so I brought it next class. I handed it to him. He read it. He gave me the check mark the Friday, and I just stopped reading plays. I was like, I'm done.
You were
this
set.
is it. This is what I'm doing. And he was
done.
like, and he loves it. He loves the script. He tells me all the time. He's like, oh my god, I just love your script, and it's just gonna be good. I was like,
Yeah, it's such a fun show, though.
Yeah.
But it's not the only one that's going to be shown on those nights.
No, there's gonna be 3 to 4, depending on what night you come. There's 3 one night, 4 the other. We have some funny ones. We have a lot of serious shows.
Yeah.
and the serious isn't like kind of serious. Like, they're very dramatic shows. Like, I know mine is funny. And then we got another one called Sunday Night, which is about a couple on their honeymoon. It's the night of their wedding day.
It's very funny, very sweet.
Yeah. And then there's another one called 5 Women Wearing the Same Dress.
That one's
And
gonna be.
that is about these 5 bridesmaids who go and they battle with themselves and everything and their inner being and find out that they don't really like this bride too much anyways. You know, and it's a lot of about self-discovery and stuff like that.
Also a very funch script.
Also a very funny script. Then then we get to a show called Cokes, which is about this guy who lures this girl on the internet.
Good start.
And then we don't know if he kills her or not. Yay, cliffhanger ending. No, I'm just kidding. But the whole show is about whether whether it's real or not.
It's a lot
the
of breaking
definition
the
of
fourth
reality.
wall.
Yeah, it's a lot of breaking the fourth wall, and it plays with the audience. It plays with your head, man. It's some mind games to the max. And yeah, it definitely plays with the definition of reality. Like, is it real or is it a play? I don't know. You have to decide. And so that one's really it's really cool, but it's like, what is happening to me right now? And then we have another one called Tape.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Which is the one Zach is
stage manager for.
Yeah, and that one's pretty exciting as well.
It's not a comedy.
It's not a comedy. It is it might be about some date rape, so that's exciting.
The way I describe it to people is it's 2 guys going, hey, what's up? Not much. I'm a dick. You're a dick. Did you rape that girl? That's tape. That is tape in a nutshell.
Tape in a nutshell is, did you rape that girl? Nah, dude. Did you rape that girl? All right, maybe a little bit. Aha! She's gonna be here soon. What up? What's happening?
It's a very intense and just insane. All of them are very good plays, and it's going to be a wonderful. Do you know when the showings are going to be?
Yes, I believe it's May. It's May 1st, but I believe it's through the 4th.
Okay.
And we'll have like A night, show B night, A night, B night. Is what I think it is. And so there will be 2 showings of each nights, and we don't have the roster of the nights yet, like who's going to be on what night, but we'll get that soon probably.
Well, hopefully they balance out pretty well because you can't go from a
bunch
of comedies.
Well, I mean, it's because there's 4 tragedies or 4 not comedies, I guess would be the best way to describe them, and then there's 3 comedies. And I was like, we can just do it like that song in Forum, you know? Tragedy tomorrow, comedy tonight.
That's better than, oh, I love you, and, or did you rape that girl?
Yeah.
And so, but Wes was like, no. So we're going to try to balance it out some. So it might go from, oh, I really love this girl. Just kidding, I murdered her in a cabin. What? What just happened? So
that all happens in present tense.
Yes, all of it. The end.
Or as you called it the other day, past tense.
Stephanie called it that.
That's right, that was.
So.
Very, very cool. And I also want to talk about something else too. Is not only are you an actor, director, and you do a bunch of stage stage craft in general, but you are also a very excellent improver.
Well, thank you, sir.
You really do everything. You really do everything in theater altogether.
I really try to get my hands. That's why I like here where it wasn't very specific. Major. Like a lot of people want that very precise, very specific training on just acting or just directing or just building sets. And I like here that I can stick my hands in everything and feel how warm and gooey it is.
No. They really need to clean up that goo.
The
theater department is filthy.
But it's great in the winter because it's warm.
That's right.
Exactly. So, I do a lot of. Last year, I was like building in the shop. I had to build puppets, like these human-sized
Puppets?
of a train and a boat for our children's show.
For Velveteen
Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I built the train and the boat from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were like, all right, hey, can you build these? And I was like,
We'll find out.
yes, exactly. And so I had to draft it. I had to come up with what materials to use. You know what I mean? I had to engineer every part that moved, every smoke that came out the top, bubbles came out the top, mouths moving. I had to like engineer and design and build all of it. And so that was exciting, to say the least.
Do you have a favorite section of theater? Since you pretty much do everything at some point.
Okay, the tech side of theater, I like the costume building, but I like more of like the puppeteer costume building, where it's like, you know, these huge costumes, not like sewing clothing.
Right.
I mean, that's fun too, but you know. But and then the on-stage side, I don't know, dude. The acting, I love acting and directing. I'm gonna like Tropic Thunder it, Ben Stiller, and direct and act in my own movie.
There you go. That'd be pretty good.
So yeah. So that's what I really want to do. My ultimate goal is to have a movie that I act in and direct in.
Now, do you write it all?
No.
That's the one thing you don't do?
Yeah, I should probably get on that and try.
Might as well, right?
Everyone else is.
Yeah,
I think I could do it.
So if you were gonna have like make your own movie, acting, directing, everything, what would it be?
Dude, it would probably be a lot like Tropic Thunder or Pineapple Express, where it's a comedy but it has a lot of action in it.
Right.
Anyways, but it's still hilarious.
Yeah.
So that it'd probably be something along that lines with these great characters that a lot of people can relate to, and just really funny and really badass at the same time.
And do you know who your dream cast of
James Franco and Seth Rogen?
Oh, all right.
That's the question.
Just that whole group of people right there.
Right.
So, but yeah,
Nice.
I have no idea though.
Well, I believe we are running out of time here. If you'd like to plug everything you're doing, because I know you're doing a whole lot of things.
Okay,
please feel free.
Major Barbara is Quadfest weekend, the April 18th through the 21st. And
what's Major Barbara about for those that don't?
Major Barbara is about 1905 England, where it's about the Salvation Army and like poverty versus, you know, wealthy, and how like saving souls and it's really hard to explain really quickly. But yeah, it's set in England, so we all have really cool, funny accents, and you should come watch it because it's going to be great.
Of course.
And the directing shows we're calling the evening Making a Scene, an evening of one acts, and it's going to be May 1st through the 4th. So you should come see that as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Phil, do you have anything?
Well, there's another great podcast put out by people at this table, I believe.
Thank you. Zach and I happen to do a podcast that you can now find on iTunes called Zach and Brandon Save the World. It's
A man named John W2 loves it.
That's very true. And that's just a very long-form comedic podcast, a lot of improv characters, that kind of stuff. It's very fun, so please check that out.
And you'll probably see us on it at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Zach Staples been on it. We want James for the next episode.
Absolutely. Of course, we'd like to plug ROC-TV and thank them for coming out and help filming this episode.
Definitely.
David and Rob, thank you so much. If you guys want to say hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much. And so always check out ROC-TV. Is it just YouTube /ROC-TV?
YouTube.com/ROC-TV.
/ROC-TV. And so you can find
Radford on camera, technically.
Radford on camera. Very official.
And if you want to be on the show or know someone who you think should be, you can email us at, radcentric@gmail.com?
I'm glad you know our email.
Yeah.
radcentric@gmail.com.
Yeah, so just send us a message and we'll see what we can do.
We'll absolutely have you on. We like to just get as many artistic students as we can and talk. And of course, as the time goes on, we'll be sure to plug your shows again.
Thank you so much.
And we cannot wait for it. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.